Let's talk about Judge Juan Merchan now, still awaiting for DA Alvin Bragg's recommendation before proceeding with the sentencing we're hearing. Now, Merchan can move to either delay Trump's sentencing, which is scheduled for later in November, until he leaves the White House, dismiss the conviction outright, or can grant a sentence of unconditional discharge. So what exactly is he waiting for to make a move? Well, let's bring in now founder and president of the Article 3 Project, Mike Davis. Mike, always a pleasure to have you. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
All right, so I'm looking at this, and the latest is now that, according to our reporter on the scene, the DA's office will file a recommendation on sentencing today. Trump's legal team will have an opportunity now to formally respond to the DA's recommendations. Why is any of this happening if the Supreme Court ruled on immunity and there were things that were Judge Merchan allowed in that should not have been allowed in for evidence, which led to this verdict?
There are so many reversible errors in this obviously political case brought by this Manhattan DA, Alvin Bragg, who campaigned on getting Trump, this Democrat operative Judge Juan Merchan, who's donated to Trump's opponents, whose adult daughter Lauren Merchan, is raising money off of this case. The biggest problem they have right now is they let in evidence that the Supreme Court said they can't let in because it's subject to presidential immunity. This case should be done. There should be a mistrial. This case should go away. The American people heard all the allegations and evidence from all these Democrat prosecutors all over the country, and the American people delivered their verdict on November 5th. This is over.
All right, so obviously we're going to watch and see what the DA files, and it continues for now, but ultimately, as you say, you believe it will be over. Let's talk about Matt Gaetz. Joel Leppard, the attorney representing two women who claim Gaetz paid them for sexual favors, out talking to the media yesterday. Let's play a little bit of this and then dive a bit deeper on the other side of this soundbite.
Yes, that Representative Gaetz paid my client, both of my clients, for sexual favors throughout the summer of 2017 all the way to the beginning of 2019.
And how did he pay them?
These were primarily through Venmo and PayPal.
So, you know, the DOJ did not indict Matt Gaetz. Later on, the House Ethics Committee does this report. The Federalist does a deeper dive here on this 2020 investigation, and they point out the credibility issues on the people making accusations. The person who's actually charged serving time here is a tax collector, formerly Seminole County, Joel Greenberg, who actually accused a local opponent of having sex with a minor, similar to the claim that he made against Gaetz. So they're wondering about his credibility and the fact that now with the DOJ, which would have, of course, indicted him if there was any issue, why is the House Ethics Committee resurrecting all of this? And I'm sure Gaetz knew that he would be asked about this during Senate confirmations. Why is it becoming such a political football?
So the President of the United States is presumptively allowed to pick his own cabinet so long as they're qualified. And Matt Gaetz is certainly qualified to be Trump's attorney general. He's been a lawyer for many years. He's been in the House for long enough to know how Washington works, but not get mired in the swamp, right? He's a bold reformer who wants to reform big tech monopolies. He wants to reform the Justice Department. And there's a reason the DC insiders hate him. So nominees should be confirmed if they're qualified. And if they're disqualified because of their personal misconduct, that's for the Senate to investigate and determine. But I would say this, if these allegations are true or even credible, why didn't the Biden-Harris Justice Department charge Matt Gaetz with any crime? And Molly Hemingway's piece in The Federalist really cast doubt on these allegations.
Well, there are questions we know that a lot of people are asking, right? Why didn't they, and why is it being brought up now? We talk about reform and you talk about changes. What about the FBI? There's talk now it could be Kash Patel, someone who is obviously very pivotal in the Russia collusion, working with Devin Nunes, exposing all of that, the rot at the FBI. There's also talk, Mike Rogers, who ran for Senate and just lost in Michigan. What do you think about what the future of the FBI should look like? And again, of course, this is assuming Christopher Wray actually steps down. He still has some of his term left. But there's so much distrust about what has gone on at the FBI, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, I think there needs to be serious reforms at the FBI, starting with President Trump firing FBI Director Chris Wray on day one. I actually think that the top three levels of the FBI, the director, the deputy director, and the assistant directors, including the assistant directors in charge of the key field offices like the Washington field office, all need to be fired. We need to bring in all new leadership. The FBI is rotten to its core. It's been politicized. It's been weaponized going all the way back to Crossfire Hurricane, continuing with Hunter Biden's laptop, and with this current lawfare against Trump. Serious reforms need to go to the FBI.
Who could do it?
I think that Kash Patel, Mike Rogers, anyone who President Trump picks is going to go in there and bring much needed reforms to the FBI, and it needs to happen, and it needs to happen very, very quickly.
While I have you, let's talk deportations. Tom Homan, border czar, was on Newsmax last night. Let's play what he told us and get your reaction after.
Look, the more badges and guns immigration officers I have on the street, the more bad guys we can arrest, right? Because President Trump is committed right out of the gate. The priorities are public safety threats and national security threats. So I need as many badges and guns on the street to have immigration arrest authority as I can. That means taking immigration officers away from transportation, taking them out of the infrastructure planning, taking them out of the intelligence.
You have folks like Arizona Governor Katie Hobbs saying they won't support it. Boston Mayor Michelle Wu, not only are they going to try to get rid of, the people here illegally that are on the, criminals or terrorists, they're also going to try to find all those missing children, Mike.
Yeah, there are over 300,000 missing kids who are no doubt being sex slaves right now. It's just awful. This is a deep scar on our country. President Trump and his immigration officials, including Tom Homan, are going to fix this. We are going to get out of this country these illegal immigrants, and they're going to start with the violent criminals. And any governor or mayor who gets in the way is going to lose in the federal courts.
Mike Davis, Article 3 Project founder and president, thanks for your time today and your analysis. Good to have you in.
Thank you.